Hi there, Gary again at Vinyl Kick. And today I am going to show you some records that I managed to pick up at a record fair that I was at on Saturday. Now, it's the first record fair I've been to in many a long year. I honestly can't remember the last time I was at a record fair. This one was in Shawlands at Phillies Bar and Grill in Shawlands, and it wasn't a massive record. It was more like a mobile record shop, I would say. There was only two, guys there selling their stuff. There was still holders, whatever you want to call them. It was a kind of strange setup. The bar and restaurant was still fully functioning. There was people getting in for drinks and getting in for a meal or getting in for something to drink or whatever. And, the record fair was like, set up in the middle of the bar, and there was people kind of milling about round about you. It was a bit strange, but it was good. It was good to get back to one after all these years. The guy had saying that there was only the two sellers. It was maybe about, I don't know, 12 to 14 crates, quite big crates. So it was a decent selection, a good selection, a lot of metal. I thought, but it was a good, other than that, it was a good selection. And reasonably, there was some stuff that was, they marked as collectible or rare or whatever. It was quite expensive, but the majority of the stuff, and certainly the stuff I was looking for, was really reasonably priced, maybe a bit cheaper than you would get at auction online or whatever. Maybe slightly cheaper than most second-hand record shops as well, so it was decent for that. He did have a bargain bin, or both sellers had a bargain bin where they had albums for £2-3 each, but they were in dreadful condition. Even at that, even for a couple of quid, I wouldn't have touched them with a barge pole. The conditioning was dreadful. So I managed to pick up 4 albums, and 2 of them especially was delighted with, because it's 2 albums I've been after for a while, and just never found clean enough copies of them. So I was absolutely made up to get the 2 of these. Ones I've been after a wee while. I believe the American guys call them grails or whatever, but I'll just call them 2 albums I've been looking for ages. So there we go, I picked them up, and also I've got a grand unboxing as well. I've had some vinyl delivered from an online store I used in Germany, and they specialise in sort of adverts and sort of a wee bit sort of more diverse punk, so I'll show you them as well. But I'll crack on with the stuff that I got at the record fair to start with in this little bag here. And that's nothing to do with the record fair, that's just another record shop somewhere else. So we'll crack on. So the first album I bought from 1983, the albums are from 1981 and one's from 86. So the first one I got was this, Vic Goddard in the Subway Sect, and it's his Songs for Sale album. Now, probably the UK guys will be very familiar with Vic Goddard. You could say, was he a punk artist? His early stuff, the Subway Sect stuff, it probably would fall into the punk genre. This is a swing album, believe it or not. It's very laid back, but it's actually very good. It's very different from any stuff, the rest of Vic stuff, I can assure you. And there's a picture of the guys in the back. So there's lots of piano and there's lots of trumpet and all that kind of jazz swing stuff. It's on the London label, and that's one of my favourite labels, is the London label. The look of it, I like the detail on it. And this album, it plays well. I've just listened to it there actually. It plays exceptionally well. And it's one, Vic Goddard stuff's getting harder and harder to get. Even his singles, the 7-inch singles, they command a pretty price at auction or whatever. So I was delighted to get this for. Don't go with the prices up here, because the guy gave me money off at the end, so it did. So if you see the prices, you're trying to total them to see what he's paid for them. It's not, because he did give me a bit of a deal with the guy, which was really nice. So this actually was the first one I picked up, and I sat to the side. Was this Vic Goddard in the Subway Sect album? I had heard about it. I heard it was a swing album. I was totally intrigued by it. Hence the reason I picked that one up, and it's a 1981 album on the London label. The next one I picked up was, and this again, this was just really an impulse buy. Everything's fallen out, and it was Japan's Assemblage album on the Hansa label. I've always liked Japan, but believe it or not, I've never had any of their vinyl. I've always just listened to them streaming or whatever. And I thought, I'm going to make a start buying some Japan stuff. He had about 43 Japan albums, I think. And the reason I chose this one is simply for the Life in Tokyo, first track and side B. You've not seen this very well here. Life in Tokyo, first track, side B. And I thought, I'm just going to take that one. It was a bargain price as well. I've not played this one yet, but I've checked the vinyl, had a look at it, and it looks pretty clean. it shouldn't be an issue, with the plain quality of it. And again, this is for 81, and it's on the lovely, and the Hansa stuff, Hansa always done the lined sleeves, which was great. The Hansa label, which is fantastic as well. And it's a lovely clean album. Why these Japan stuff? I mean, again, I'd say with the pricing in this record fair, it seemed to be all over the place, because it's certainly Japan albums were very cheap, and it seemed to be all the metal albums that were, you know, commanding a higher price for some bizarre reason. Maybe it's just metal's more collectible or whatever these days. I don't know. Maybe more people are into it, and you know, swing albums for Vic Goddard or albums for Japan maybe aren't quite as popular. But I thought the two of them were a very good price. I paid a bit less than that for them actually. So, so that was the second one. Another album for 1981, same as Vic Goddard, and that was Japan's Assemblage. Damn good album. The next two are two albums I've been looking for a while. One of them, the last one I'll show you, I lost it. I had an original copy of it. This is the one I got, it's the original as well. I lost it in a house move. And the second one I did have it. I don't know what the copy I had was a really beaten up copy. And whether I've traded it or whatever back in the day, I can't remember. But this copy I got, it's absolute great condition. Way better condition than any I've picked up before in second-hand shops. One of my favourite punk bands, it's the Dead Kennedys, In God We Trust. It plays at 45, 8 tracks. It's got some of the famous ones, A Religious Vomit, Nazi Punks Fuck Off, and their cover of Rawhide. I went and seen the Dead Kennedys just a couple of weeks back. They played in Glasgow and they were absolutely fantastic. Nice cover, and this is on. This is on. It's a Manifesto label. As it's Manifesto. This is when they'd come off of Alternative Tentacles by this time. I'm sure, because I'm sure it was East Bay Ray. No, easy to say. East Bay Ray, the guitarist, had issues with Alternative Tentacles. He wasn't quite convinced that they were being fair with the Dead Kennedys and the way they were paying them, the way they were paying their royalties for record sales, etc. And the guy was bang on it. He was dead right. They were getting ripped off. Whether Biafra was involved, well, that's a great debate, isn't it? Is that why he left the band? Did they kick him out for that reason? Did he jump before he was pushed? That's the debate with the Dead Kennedys. Did Biafra actually know? Well, Biafra seemingly was taking a slightly higher cut than the rest of the band, but was he also involved in the payment method that was being used by Alternative Tentacles? Who knows, don't know. But they moved this was Manifesto Records. Biafra was still involved. The classic lineup: East Bay Ray, Biafra, Peligro, and Klaus Fluoride. 2 of the 4 of them still going yet. Unfortunately, Peligro, he just passed away not that long ago, a year or so ago, and I've got the young Argentinian boy in drumming for them now, and Skip Greer obviously has been singing for them for the last 10-15 years as well, in the new lineup. Still brilliant, still great live, what a gig. But this was great. This is up there for me. This is up there with Fresh Fruit, the album, their first album. This is up there with that for me. Their other albums are very good as well, but their first album, Fresh Fruit for Rotten Vegetables, and this, In God We Trust, were easily my 2 favourite Dead Kennedys albums. Although I do like Frankenchrist as well, I must admit, but this is a tremendous album. So it is a tremendous EP, as 45 EP. And it was an absolute delight that I got it for the condition it's in. The vinyl is, honestly, there's not a mark in the vinyl at all. It's pristine. The sleeve is in great condition. As you can see, the quality in the sleeve as well. And for a first press, it's absolutely excellent for a 1981 press on Manifesto. This might even, I'll need to check this again, because when I looked at it, it came up as this was a Canadian import, but I'll need to double check that again, just to make sure. I'll check it again in Discord, isn't it? Quite quickly the other night, and I thought it caught my eye, it said it's Canadian import, but we'll check anyway. But I was delighted to get that. I was absolutely made up. My face lit up when I spotted this. Was digging through and I spotted this, especially in condition like that. So that was the third one for 1981 from the record fair. To go with my other two, my Vic Goddard in Japan, it was the Dead Kennedys, DK, and God We Trust. What a great album, punk album. Last but certainly by no means least is the classic Housemartins, London Nil Hull 4. Now, as I said, I had this, lost it in a house move, was gutted, seen it a couple of times second hand, and that quite kind of beat up copies of it, but to get one, and again, this is absolute pristine for a first press. The cover It's glossy, it's lovely. Honestly, it's been really well looked after. There's not a mark in the cover at all. It's been really cared for album, and so it should be, because it's an absolute cracker. It's timeless, this album. The inside, there's some slight spot on the inside, but it doesn't, in the inner sleeve, some slight just aging on it. But the vinyl itself is absolutely, it's immaculate. There's no mark on it, and looking at that, you're thinking, either that's just been cleaned, it's been played very, very lightly. There is literally not a mark in that, and it does look as if it's been cleaned. I said to the chap, and he doesn't clean them, the guy that was the owner of the stall that was selling this, he says, no, I don't clean them. He says, but that is a pristine copy. And he obviously, he took a couple of pound or a pound off it as well, the asking price. I was absolutely made up to get that. I listened to this on streaming, Spotify, whatever. I listened to it a lot, and this is an absolute blinding album. The Housemartins, London Nil, Hull 4, Paul Heaton at his best. There's the guys there. All went on to do very different things, didn't they? So they did, especially Norman Cook with all his Fatboy Slim stuff, and the rest of them. I mean, the guy there, I think it's the guys at Hugh Whittaker, it's one of them, I'm not sure. I think it's the guy Hugh Whittaker's. They played a gig in my hometown, and the drummer, and he married a local girl. A girl was a gig, he met her at the gig and ended up married her. So there you go, there's a local connection to that as well. So that was my 4 albums from the record fair. I could maybe have bought a couple more. I was tempted to pick up a couple of Japan ones. I didn't bother. I knew I had records coming. I knew we were going to go. There's a couple of record shops close to where the record fair was as well. I knew we were going there for a nosy, but I didn't pick up anything there either, and I couldn't be bothered walking all the way back down to the other side of Pollokshaws Road to get back to the record fair to pick up another couple of things. So that's what I got in there, and I was delighted with that. 4 cracking albums, worth it alone. And also came Saturday was this. Now this is an online store I use, an online record store I use. They're based in Germany, Rarewaves. And I bought these. I was just flicking through their site. They do specialise in some more obscure takes of music. They do mainstream as well. They do lots of them. It's a massive store, but they get a lot of the smaller bands will get limited editions, whether it be different coloured vinyls or just small batch releases or different covers or whatever. Or you maybe get something inside it. You've got a different inside. Maybe got a poster or a 3/7 inch or whatever. They seem to do a lot of that. And I was just flicking through their site last week, and I noticed they had a sale on, and my goodness, it's some sale. I mean, they've absolutely slashed the prices in hundreds of albums, and I picked up 3, and one in particular is an album we'd looked for a while there. 2 I just bought for the sake of it, but one had been an album I'd been looking for a wee while. On the red vinyl. It came out in the red vinyl originally, and there was only a couple of hundred of them released, and then it came out in black vinyl, and I've not been able to get it. The black vinyl itself is nearly 30 quid, and the red vinyl, I've never seen the red vinyl, so we'll give this a wee open. I've got my wee knife here, and we'll get this open, we'll have a wee look at it, and I'll show you what's in here without trying to cut my hand off, this is a good wee tool. This was a wee tool I bought at a wee second hand stock antique stock junk shop just down the road for me, and it's really good at cutting things and cutting people as well, so you've got to be careful. Right, we're in, and I'll start with the first album that I was looking for out of them all, and it's this Rank and File. On the red, Sundown, Rank and File, Sundown, 150 gram in the translucent red vinyl. Now, this was Rank and File. It's not a side project. If you've ever heard of the American punk band, the California punk band, the Dills, there was 2 brothers in it, Kilman brothers, Chip and somebody else. In fact, it probably tells you in the front of this, I'm sure it does. Tony and Chip Kilman were in the Dills, and they formed this group with the Nuns, a guy out the Nuns, guitarist, but the Dills are a cracking punk band, kind of similar to Dead Kennedys, not quite, but absolutely great. Their vinyl's very hard to get a hold of. I've got one Dill 7-inch single, that's all I've got, and I'd been after this for a wee while. This Rank and File, the Sundown album. It's a bit more, you see the guys in the back there, this certainly is a change. This is a move away from what they've done with the Dills, which is more a punk sound. This is more a kind of alternate country type thing, but my goodness, I've listened to it online quite a few times, and it's a fantastic album. As I said, I couldn't believe it was red vinyl, and I'm still to open it yet. I'll open it in a bit, and I couldn't believe it was red vinyl. They had one copy left, and the rest was in black. And as I said, this was incredibly cheap. I get these 3 albums delivered to my house for 20 quid. Unbelievable. So that was the first one I bought. This was the one I went on. I spotted it. It come up. Just I couldn't believe it. And I said, I'm for that, Frankenfile. And I thought I was really in a really good mood after this. I thought, so I was just going to buy another 2 as well. So yeah, glad I got this. I'll re-listen to it later. Chip Kinman, Tony Kinman, they were both in the Dills. Slim Evans, the drummer, and Escovedo was the guitar and vocalist, who I'm sure was in the Nuns. So there you go. So this is a re-release of their first album from 1982. It's a re-release. I think it was re-released. I'm not sure when it was re-released actually. A couple of years back. Certainly not this year. It was re-released a couple of years back. But absolute great. Their first album for 1982, and I can't wait to get this on. I'm really looking forward to listening to it. Rank and File, Sundown, and red vinyl. Second one, again, sticking with the American punk theme. Channel 3, After the Lights Go Out, their second album, again for 1982, re-release of it. I think this is just in plain black vinyl, 150 gram black vinyl. So no, it's 1983 it said in this. I thought this was a 1982 release. No, it is. It's 1982 release. Channel 3, the single, they're probably, if any of the guys that are into punk music, they'll remember Channel 3's, the single that made them in the UK was I've Got a Gun. That's the one that started them off here, and they released an album in the back of that, which wasn't great. First 2 albums are excellent. This is their second album. They verged into sort of more metal sound later on in their career, maybe their fourth, fifth, sixth albums, and then they went back to, and they were shite, and then they went back to doing their punk stuff again, and they're still touring yet, as far as I believe. So it's just black vinyl, 150 gram black vinyl, and it's mastered by Kevin Gray. So there we go, Channel 3. It doesn't have I've Got a Gun on it. I think it might have been on the first album, I'm not sure. But the original lineup, cracking album. I've actually listened to it online. I hadn't heard all of it before I bought it, and I listened to it online, and it was absolutely fantastic. Good album. This one's a wee bit a move to the north for me, Ken Benson. I picked up because I like the cover actually, and again this is a yellow, a kind of splattered yellow vinyl. I'm not sure, this is their 4th album or something. I'm not really sure what album this is. I don't even know if they're still going. I think they might have chucked it. It's quite grimy. Ken Benson, a mixture, I don't know what you'd call them, punk, grime, kind of, sometimes it's like stoner rock. They're very different. I wouldn't say they're my favourite band, but this was only, I think this was £6, this album, and that's the reason I just picked it up. I liked the cover. I'd heard a couple of their songs on Spotify that I did like, so I thought, well, I'll get that. I might as well. It's a very limited edition in the yellow vinyl, and this is a US import, this one, so it is. So there you go. That's what came in this. That's what came through the door this weekend. 4 at a record fair. First record fair since I was a teenager. So there you go. You can do the maths on that, man. Bloody hell. That's a good wee while away, and 3 delivered straight to my door for less than 20 quid. So I'm going to have a listen to them. I'm really excited to get House Martins on the turntable. Get it in vinyl again rather than listening to it on streaming service. So anyway, there we go. Vinyl community. You guys look after yourselves. Stay free.